Hey guys, David, Brojo Coach. Just wanted to reach out, say hope you're having a great week and a great weekend wherever you are in the world. I wanted to do a video around social connection again. This one I was inspired to do by something in my day job. I was working with someone who identified gambling as a real issue and something that had caused a lot of pain, a lot of suffering in his life, and had led him to make a lot of poor decisions. In particular, gambling on horses and sport betting, that sort of thing. So he was, talking gambling in a financial sense. But it sort of got me thinking around gambling in a social sense and how we often go out and gamble when we connect with people, and how this can be a real barrier to us actually creating those connections. And so I guess what I mean by gambling is the idea that most of us rationally wouldn't go to a casino and expect to know that we're going to, make enough money to pay our rent or pay the bills. We accept that whenever we go to a casino, there's an element of risk there. There's an element of the fact that it's stacked in the house's favour in general, and that generally we just can't predict the outcome. Luck, the roll of a dice, the spin of a ball, the machines working, whatever game you happen to be playing, there is an element of luck involved, an element of the unknown that we just cannot factor in. And most of us rationally can accept that, right? Like, we're okay with that. We go to the casino and we're like, yeah, I'll take $50 or whatever, and I know that I'll probably lose most of it or all of it. Maybe I win, maybe I won't, but I'm okay. I'm just out to have a good time, and I'm all right because I understand and I accept the parameters I'm operating in. I accept that I can't know or control the outcome of this gambling that I'm doing. But when it comes to social connection, right, so many of us believe that we can manage the outcome. We can manage the other person's behaviors. We can predict what they're going to do. We can fortune tell. And that causes us to really step back, in the way we behave. We spend so much time trying to manage the other person in conversations. In any interaction, I think back to myself, I spent so much time trying to make other people like me. And I really felt that when they didn't like me, it was because of something that I hadn't managed well enough. I hadn't done a good enough job at making them like me. I hadn't played the right character. I hadn't said the right things. I hadn't behaved in a way that would draw them into me. And the funny thing is the more, in general, when I'm talking about women, the more attractive the woman, the more I wanted to do a good job, the more I wanted to manage the conversation and achieve the result. Much like the casino, when there's more money riding on the dice, there's much more pressure on that that particular game because there's much more perceived risk. There's perception that I've got so much more to lose. And so with social interactions, that was the same thing. And so, despite both situations, when I gambled money, I was okay. I understood that I couldn't control the outcome, that it was beyond me, and it was all just a guess, and there was luck and all the other stuff that went into it. But when I engaged with people, I was trying to manage that situation, and I genuinely believed that I could control the outcome of the social interaction. And that really caused me to step back often and say, oh, well, it's not the right time. I can't manage it in the right way. It's not the right environment. I'm not in the right headspace. They're not in the right headspace. Things are, they've got their friends around, or I've got my friends around, or their friends aren't around, or my friends aren't around, or, it's the wrong time of day, or they look busy, or all these different things that I would use as excuses. And I'd say, well, I can't manage this conversation appropriately. I can't manage this interaction, and I can't make this person like me. And when I think back on it, and in this conversation with this guy I had around gambling, he genuinely believed that there was ways he could make the situation favourable as outcome. There were tools and there were techniques and there were tips and all these different things, and hence he just kept gambling, even though he knew deep down rationally that at the end of the day, that his ability to manage and master and manipulate that game and manage the situation for a favourable outcome was so limited. And so social interactions, I believe, are the same. I really found that when I started getting away from the idea that I could make people like me, that I needed to manage the outcome of a conversation, that I needed to manage their feelings or their perception of me. I really started to become free in my interaction with people. I was able to just be playful. I was able to experiment. I was able to just to enjoy this simple act of being in the present moment and communicating with someone. And that's really powerful, right? That's a really great way to connect with people. Because people, I certainly believe I can sense when people aren't present in the moment. When they're thinking about the future, or they're thinking about the past, they're thinking about other places they'd rather be. I can tell that. I can tell when someone's not engaged. I get a feeling, or I believe I can tell, let's put it that way. But I get a feeling that this other person, they're not wanting to give to me. They're not wanting to give value to me. They're not engaged in the present moment in that conversation. And then that creates a barrier. So I really believe by releasing this idea, by accepting the idea, the theory that the other person, it's not your responsibility to manage their behavior in a conversation. In fact, it's impossible for you to do so. You don't know on any given day, at any given time, how someone is going to react. You know, I've been in situations where I've talked to people one day and said things that they found funny, and then, you know, I talk to them again sort of maybe a week later, a month later or whatever, and they haven't really responded in the same way. They've responded quite differently to the similar sorts of conversations, similar sort of topics, similar sorts of questions. And often when I've explored that with them, it's been about their state of mind, their well-being on that day, their focus, their, you know, how things have shaped for them over that week, their month, or whatever. And that's the thing. Whenever you go into a conversation with someone, they're bringing their own baggage into it. They're bringing their own perceptions, their own beliefs, their own feelings and thoughts. And you can't control that. You can't manage that. And unless you're like, you know, some sort of guy with ESP, you know, you're not going to know that. You know, you can't future tell that. You can't read minds. All you can do is express how you're feeling honestly and see how they take it. And the more you can do that without worrying about managing how they're going to take it, and then being okay with the response that they give you, the more you will enjoy conversations, the more you will create connection with those people in the moment, and the more that you'll find yourself creating that value. You'll find that people can respect the value that you're bringing to a conversation because you're engaged in it. You're not worrying about how the outcome will come, you know, what the outcome will be, how you'll manage that person. You're just okay with having the conversation and seeing how it goes. And that's quite an organic way to grow that connection. So look, when you're out there, I really would encourage you to really have a think, reflect on how you go into conversations and how much emphasis you put on managing the other person in those conversations, and really work on moving away from that idea that you can manage them. Be okay with the fact that in a conversation, at best, you control 50% of the conversation. Enjoy that. It's an adventure. It's an experience. It can be really fun. And you can have fun with it. You can be playful with it. So go out there, embrace that opportunity, go and connect with people, and don't worry about trying to manage their feelings, their thoughts, or the conversation. Because if you do that, you'll find that connection will grow much more organically, and it will definitely flow better for you in your connection with people. I hope this was useful. If you like my videos, or if you like this message, drop me a message. Love to hear your comments. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out the Brojo webpage or the Brojo Facebook page on Facebook. And yeah, take care out there. Cheers, guys.